Pardon me, officer, but you won't believe the morning I've had. My vehicle just completely died right in the middle of everything. It is totally stuck. Do you happen to have some cables so we can get this motor running again? Picture a witty detective from the Motor City invading a world of palm trees and making luxury look ridiculous. Under Martin Brest's direction at Paramount Pictures during 1984, this film redefined the summer blockbuster landscape forever. The legendary Eddie Murphy portrayed Axel Foley, a sharp investigator venturing far from his urban roots into California. He was on a mission to avenge a fallen friend within the most expensive zip code in the world. The cast included Judge Reinhold John Ashton and Ronny Cox playing the iconic trio of mismatched law enforcement officers. A project plagued by constant script changes transformed into the most successful cinematic event of 1984's entire year. It became a comedy powerhouse that defined an era. Let's look at 15 bizarre secrets behind this legendary production. Stay tuned for our top spot where a hidden prop in a scene was actually the director's secret weapon. Please hit that like button and subscribe to help us share these classic movie memories with fellow film lovers. Grab your sunglasses as we head toward the hills. Coming in at number 15, the lead looked very different. It is nearly impossible to picture anyone but Eddie Murphy in that jacket, yet he was a late arrival. Believe it or not, the star we all love was actually the third name on the studio's wish list. I am trying to explain something important here. Are you even paying attention to what I am saying? Initially, Mickey Rourke was the chosen lead back when the story leaned more toward a gritty crime drama. Rourke accepted $400,000 just to wait, but the production stalled while the script sat gathering dust. He eventually departed with a massive payday despite never filming a single frame of footage before the cameras started. Next up was Sylvester Stallone, who took the character and completely reshaped the narrative into a dark thriller. He ditched the laughs and renamed his protagonist Axel Cobretti, turning the story into a much more violent affair. Stallone's vision was a brutal action epic filled with massive set pieces and a hero who did not crack jokes. The proposed budget skyrocketed with expensive explosions until the studio heads realized they simply could not afford his grand vision. Only 2 weeks before production, Stallone exited, leaving the producers desperate to find a new leading man quickly. Murphy arrived just in time, but he was handed a script meant for a very different kind of hero. Alongside director Martin Brest, the young star used improvisational genius to find the humor buried within the dark script. They treated the narrative like an evolving journey that kept changing as they filmed each day on the set. The process felt like a wild ride where the destination was uncertain until they finally crossed the finish line. Stallone's rejected concepts were not lost. He saved those gritty ideas for his 1986 action hit titled Cobra. Both films actually share the same origin story, split apart by the personalities of two very different Hollywood legends. One star's exit paved the way for another's legacy. At number 14, let's talk about the box office. During 1984, this production shattered records by becoming the first adult-rated movie to earn $200 million. This milestone was achieved purely through ticket sales without any special releases or modern financial adjustments to the total. I am lost here. Where are we supposed to be going with all this stuff right now? My schedule is packed today. Your supervisor is looking for you and he seems incredibly frustrated about it. The film eventually grossed over $315 million globally, a staggering sum for the mid-'80s movie market. By the time the year ended, Axel Foley stood atop the mountain as the most successful character in America. It managed to outperform massive hits featuring ghosts and whip-wielding archaeologists at the local theaters that festive year. A smart-mouthed investigator in a simple jacket proved more popular than high-tech gadgets or ancient supernatural treasures combined. For nearly 2 decades, no other adult-rated film could touch the financial heights reached by this particular comedy classic. It took a major sci-fi sequel in 2003 to finally claim the crown from the throne. Look, I just need the cash that is owed to me. Is that clear enough for you? The record for comedies lasted 25 years until A Wild Night in Las Vegas finally broke the long-standing streak. Studios used to fear the R rating, but this success proved that mature audiences were hungry for high-quality entertainment. It showed that a sarcastic hero could win over the entire country without being safe for the whole family. Our next fact at number 13 involves a simple decision that changed the whole movie forever. Silver birthed legends. Fate chose metal. Careers risked ice. Coins fueled friendships. Redemption cost change. Brest feared furnaces. Scripts reeked failure. Producers begged loudly. Washington chose paths. Framed luck remains. Pressure swallowed him. Laughter met lead. Shadows loomed near. Tobacco fueled fires. Nerves turned ash. 12 fatigue sparked. Axel Foley invaded. Fabrications felt true. Confusion met electricity. Exhaustion birthed genius. Java shocked spirits. Coffee sparked overdrive. Words became barrages. Charisma masked falsehoods. Cops became mythic. Improv defined sets. Greatness stayed uninterrupted. Actors bled characters. Joy ruined takes. Whirlwinds battled legends. 11 fruit changed. Pranks echoed loudly. Humor flowed organically. Spuds were weapons. Roots seemed logical. Practicality lacked sparks. Politics forced changes. Jerry Bruckheimer scrambled. Snacks saved everything. Yellow inspired gold. Jokes born instantly. Echoes spanned decades. Halls smelled fruit. 10 kids copied. Minor roles triumphed. This legendary scene stealer unplanned genius. Pinchot's path commenced humbly. Only some gallery employee. That initial screenplay seemed quite ordinary. Suddenly, Axel Foley arrived. This auditioned vocalization transformed cinema. Such untraceable, sophisticated lilts. Someone hailing from nowhere. Brest felt stunned. Such comedic timing radiated electricity. Narrative focus pivoted. Surge flourished while others simply vanished. That trademark arrogant energy life itself provided inspiration. Some backstage technician sparked it. Pinchot mimicked every quirk. He amplified that vanity, resulting in truly hilarious peaks. That enigmatic dialect worked. A background person turned iconic. Serge endured forever. His charisma made art dealing memorable. Fans adored him. He reappeared across multiple decades. His magnetism never faded. He owned every single moment. Absolute movie magic. Number 9, that famous digestion debate. Screenwriters skipped this. It emerged from unscripted chaotic joy. Envision 50 years of beef sitting heavy inside anyone. Casting sessions spiraled. These performers discovered instant sparks. Pages were discarded. Brest prioritized genuine human links. Just folks chatting, he sought authentic shared vibes. They ignored instructions. Nutritional arguments erupted instantly. Debating internal ovens, they fought regarding decomposing protein. Cranky skeptics meet fanatics. This duo matched perfectly. Like squabbling spouses, they projected medical paranoia effectively. It resonated deeply. Brest abandoned his original plan. They captured rambling. A timeless sequence remained forever. Spontaneous humor won. A legendary partnership began here. They defined 1980s cinema. Number 8, the boss was real. Great films need tension. A shouting leader provided friction. Todd seemed remarkably authentic. He lacked previous experience. His rage felt legitimate. Government pressure loomed large. Such stress appeared real. He felt completely drained. An actual homicide sleuth. Brest discovered him working. No set dressing needed. He projected natural gritty presence. Zero professional schooling. A star found within Detroit. Unfakeable leadership qualities. He understood how people follow. One simple command exists. His authority flowed effortlessly. Brief Hollywood journey. He remained within Axel's world. Sequels invited him. Eventually, he departed show business. Real consequences followed. Public service became his focus. Pursuing a city's leadership. He targeted mayoral seats. Detroit's actual boss, like for additional stories. Support our channel, we treasure these production secrets. Mention your favorite. Connect inside our comments. Returning to Motor City. Number 7, authentic filming. One location persists, where history meets Hollywood. The soul of a film set lives or dies by the prestige of its chosen surroundings. Real-life authorities within that wealthy zip code actually shut the filmmakers out completely. Walking away now would be a massive, heartbreaking blunder. Stay and hear me out. If our roles were flipped, I'd simply head inside and stall until my eventual return. The director crafted a superior world using sharp aesthetics salvaged from his previous digital thriller. He wanted a station that felt more like a country club for the extremely wealthy. That sharp divide from the messy Motor City life was a deliberate creative masterstroke. The scenery handled the heavy lifting of the culture shock so the actors didn't have to explain. That elegant showroom where the leads reunited was a genuine functioning Los Angeles creative hub. Authentic masterpieces made the visitor in casual attire feel like a complete and utter misfit. A colorful personality welcomed the man who was searching for an old, long-lost friend. Those performers in the neon lights were actually in the middle of their professional shifts. The filmmakers didn't manufacture the energy, they just stepped into its existing reality. While the precinct remained locked, the city's wilder side was wide open for the cameras. Tinseltown always finds a way, though everyone claims to have birthed that iconic lawman. 3 separate voices insisted they held the patent on this classic fish-out-of-water tale. Each was totally certain of their own legacy while scanning for any lurking threats. With shadows following them, the investigation moved up to the corporate penthouse level. A studio head traced the spark back to a 1975 traffic stop in that neighborhood. He was piloting a rusted family car when a very specific kind of patrolman appeared. That polished authority sparked a vision of a comedy born from 2 colliding lifestyles. A high-powered producer saw cinematic gold in those perfectly trimmed hedges and immense wealth. He was convinced the concept was born back in 1977. A gritty detective suddenly thrown into a sea of mansions and extreme luxury. It was exactly the kind of flashy story a mogul would tell while indoors. Then a real-life investigator emerged, claiming the movie echoed his own undercover days. He believed his own published memoirs served as the uncredited foundation for the script. He suspected his written life story was studied long before the filming ever began. Legal threats loomed between a ticketed executive and a visionary with a deep grievance. It was a battle of egos involving a badge, a manuscript, and a specific theory. Every one of them died on the hill of being the true father of Axel Foley. Initially, the story centered on the Steel City rather than the Motor City. Early drafts lacked the quick-witted charm that eventually defined the legendary protagonist. Imagine a casual stranger just walking right past all your guards into the vault. I wandered through your most private areas without a single person raising an eyebrow. The protagonist began as a much more reserved, quiet type of Pittsburgh lawman. The foundation remained a blue-collar hero chasing justice in a land of extreme luxury. That first draft was a cold, humorless look at the gritty criminal underworld. Through years of development, the story's heart underwent a massive, fundamental transformation. The mystery remained, but the soul of the project became something truly electric. Wit eventually replaced the darkness until a vibrant masterpiece of timing was born. This shift turned a standard revenge tale into a timeless, beloved favorite for generations. A joyless version likely would have just gathered dust in a clearance bin. The final hero charmed his way into movie history with effortless, fast-talking grace. A decade ago, there was almost a whole new chapter for this legend on television. Imagine taking this silver screen giant and trying to squeeze it into a weekly television routine interrupted by constant commercial breaks. The network actually filmed an entire first episode featuring a young star as the legendary lawman's son patrolling those same palm-lined streets. Are we dealing with seasoned investigators or just a fancy daycare service? Well, that really depends on who needs the supervision. No, then let us simply refer to them as professional associates. From the outside looking in, this specific project possessed a massive amount of creative momentum and star power. They even secured the visionary director who gave us those iconic secret agents dressed in sharp black suits. The lead star did far more than just sign a contract. He physically arrived on the set to film his scenes. He reprised his famous role while guiding the production, yet despite all that talent, the network eventually walked away. Test viewers were so captivated by the original hero that executives begged for him to remain a permanent fixture. They wanted him to drive up viewership with frequent visits as the veteran face. Some jokes simply never fade. The old duo returns. You realize your tough mother missed a few items during that messy legal split, right? However, the actor refused. He possessed zero desire to return to a weekly broadcast schedule, and he certainly. was not willing to be a mere nostalgic memory in the world he built. He was the one who defined the character. He had no intention of playing a supporting role to a newcomer on a channel filled with police procedurals. Once the main star declined, network interest vanished quickly. The director later hinted at internal battles for executive power. Conflicts between the two studios likely factored in as well. It was a high-stakes game of strategy played in the boardrooms. Such things often ignore the art of the story and focus entirely on ownership. Moving on to number 3. A simple gray hoodie sparked a national shopping frenzy. Long before social media trends, a rough city lawman in a film unintentionally started a fashion craze over a basic piece of high school athletic wear. That iconic school shirt seen in every scene was far more than just a costume designed by the studio. This institution actually existed in the Motor City, and the designers chose it for a very practical, unglamorous purpose. It simply felt genuine. The goal was to ground the leading man in a reality that audiences would truly believe. They snagged a local school top, put it on the country's most famous actor, and moved forward without hesitation. They continued filming, unaware of the impact. The film exploded, and suddenly that clothing became a logistical nightmare. The real school was soon overwhelmed by thousands of purchase requests arriving from across the entire United States. Folks from the coast and the South, fans who had never even set foot in the Midwest before, now craved the uniform of a city school they likely could not even locate on a world atlas. A modest educational facility was transformed into a retail business simply because a star looked cool in the gear. He wore their logo with style. Prior to the release, that top was just a basic item for students. Following the premiere, cheap imitations filled the market alongside official recreations. Moving to number 2. These songs defined the entire decade. Long before digital streaming and viral clips, this movie set the tone. It released a collection of music that shifted from background sound to a total cultural phenomenon within weeks. The main attraction was a track that seemingly lacked any potential for mainstream radio success. That famous electronic tune, a lyricless, bold exploration of pure 1980s synthesizer sounds, without words or any traditional elements of a radio hit during that specific era of music history. Yet it was undeniable. The song surged to the 3 spot on the most prestigious national music charts. It sat comfortably among emotional love songs and loud rock tracks, a simple, vibrant electronic hook. It forced its presence alongside legendary rock stars and pop icons, and the world simply embraced the sound. Soon, the whole nation was whistling the tune without even realizing it. You surely remember that melody. Those few electronic notes defined a whole generation. Yet that was only one part of the record. The rest was equally powerful. A high-energy rock track reached the 2 spot and became an ultimate anthem. For every fast-paced cinematic sequence of that era, a soulful dance track also fought into the top 10. Matching the frantic pace of the opening chase, it provided the story with its wild, unstoppable momentum. A powerful soul singer returned to the charts with a top 20 hit that redefined her career entirely. It became one of her most legendary successes and helped the music live far beyond the silver screen. Imagine a motion picture collection where every single tune dominated the rankings effortlessly. Such heights of success are nearly non-existent within film history. We all exited the cinema mimicking those legendary quips while that infectious electronic melody became etched into our memories. Do you recall that feeling? In one specific instance, the law enforcement leader was actually clutching his screenplay during the shoot. This production for Beverly Hills Cop was famously chaotic. Behind the curtains, the writing staff worked at a frantic pace that would give most modern crews a total breakdown. Fresh pages arrived for the cast between setups, with spoken parts altering mere moments before the cameras started rolling. That frantic energy remains eternally visible on screen, provided you are observant enough to spot the clues. Observe closely as the precinct commander charges into the workspace to confront our lead and his partners. Those cylindrical documents appear to be routine paperwork or urgent evidence files for a high-ranking official. In reality, they were simply his updated dialogue because the revisions had finished just seconds before the lights went up. With no opportunity for memorization, the performer simply grabbed his cues and hoped for the best. He entered the scene and provided his performance while literally gripping the shifting story in his palm. The filmmaker noticed the error but chose to retain it for the final version. He was not the only one winging it. Within that very sequence, another veteran was speaking phrases that were barely 30 minutes old. Whereas typical films enjoy months of preparation, this set functioned by handing out steaming hot text and filming immediately. Those are 15 of the wildest secrets regarding Beverly Hills Cop. Which of these surprising details caught you off guard? Post your reactions below and forward this to a pal who still remembers that classic electronic melody. Remember to show your support. Join our community and stay tuned for more cinematic journeys. This has been a look back at the classics. They even secured the visionary director who gave us those iconic secret agents dressed in sharp black suits. The lead star did far more than just sign a contract. He physically arrived on the set to film his scenes. He reprised his famous role while guiding the production, yet despite all that talent, the network eventually walked away. Test viewers were so captivated by the original hero that executives begged for him to remain a permanent fixture. They wanted him to drive up viewership with frequent visits as the veteran face. Some jokes simply never fade. The old duo returns. You realize your tough mother missed a few items during that messy legal split, right? However, the actor refused. He possessed zero desire to return to a weekly broadcast schedule, and he, certainly, was not willing to be a mere nostalgic memory in the world he built. He was the one who defined the character. He had no intention of playing a supporting role to a newcomer on a channel filled with police procedurals. Once the main star declined, network interest vanished quickly. The director later hinted at internal battles for executive power. Conflicts between the two studios likely factored in as well. It was a high-stakes game of strategy played in the boardrooms.